This is Downing from Downing Powerlifting Systems, and today we're going to be talking about and helping you learn how to go from being a newbie when it comes to squatting to someone that is not seen as a noob because you're starting to learn your way into the weight room and you're learning how to squat. The easiest way to understand who is new to the weight room is walking in and looking at the squat racks. Who in the squat racks is doing a quarter squat, who is up on their toes, or who is falling on their face. So today in this edition of So You Think You Can Squat, we're going to look into how to take someone from being a newbie to somebody who is getting to get their feet wet and getting better at being a squatter. Alright, so the first thing I look at when I walk over to the squat racks in the gym, whether it be my gym, a gym where I'm training people, or just a gym where I'm going to work out for a period of time, I walk over the squat racks, I look at the athletes, and the first thing I look at is their shoe. I would recommend a very flat, hard-soled shoe that does not compress under the weight of the bar. Next thing I begin to look at is the athlete, and then I start to break them down. I look at their depth, how low they're taking the squat. Is it below parallel? Is it at where they need to be to properly develop themselves? I look at their body posture. How are they set up under the bar? How are they set up as they go down? How are they set up as they come up? Are they leaning forward? Are they not sitting back too far? And those are a lot of the things we're going to look at today. Alright, so first things first, back to my concept I had in my previous video called purposeful training. When you're taking your new athlete, the first thing we want to do is figure out where they're comfortable at, where they would like to put their feet when they're under the bar. I would recommend, as like I said with my previous video, go to their power stance. What do they typically do in their sport prior to, whether it be strength and conditioning or prior to getting into powerlifting? So the first thing we're looking at here is bad squat. Leaning too far forward, heels coming up, leaning too far forward, your body falling over. This in reality is a total bad squat. Here we have another bad squat. The squatter's coming down, knees collapsing in, and this will result in you probably falling over. Now what I'm doing is demonstrating using a box in your squatting. First off, I'm demonstrating using the box wrong. The box is right underneath of me, which allows me to collapse directly on top of the box, which is not what I want. Now I step forward, giving me more space between me and the box, and it allows you to reach really far back to the box, and you see me doing that, reaching to the box. This helps the lifter begin to learn to sit back on their heels and begin to fix a lot of the problems they were having within their squat. Again, remember to have the box far enough back so you have to reach to it. Here I am again squatting to a box. You see me reaching all the way back to the box and barely tapping it. The box is there really just to adjust my depth, checking that I'm going low enough each and every time. And it definitely is a great way, especially if you're squatting on your own, to make sure you're reaching that proper depth. And you don't always have to go to a box. You can sometimes train without it. 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off. It's up to you. Here's the same thing from a different angle, from the front. You see my knees aren't coming too far out, but I'm still reaching all the way back to the box and staying on my heels, not on my toes. Doing a proper squat. Now I'm squatting without the box, still reaching to depth and keeping that proper posture, which is most important. I like to call it kind of like the supermodel pose. You're looking to have both your butt out and your chest out when you're squatting to keep that nice posture for a good squat and help you to easily reach your depth, and also to stay off of your toes and on your heels during the squat. So I hope that helped you out. I hope that took you from being a noob to someone who can successfully come into the weight room, work on those things, work on depth through either box squats or regular squats. I say that the best way to do it would be to do a cycle on and off the box. That way you make sure you're hitting depth, especially if you're training on your own. Also pay attention to box placement like I showed you in the video. Make sure the box is far enough back that you have to reach for it. You want to make sure that you're not able just to collapse down right on top of the box. You need to be able to reach back for it. What that ensures is that you're helping to learn to sit back within the squat itself, so that you're not coming forward like you saw in the beginning of the video as well with the bad squat. When you're sitting back to the box, make sure the knees are out, make sure you're pointed slightly out, whether you are a close or wide stance squatter. That way, again, your knees aren't coming in. See a lot of bad squatters where their knees start coming in and they end up falling forward, which is something we don't want and which would be something that shows you to be a noob.